এশিয়া কাপের যে চাপটা ওইটা চাপ নিচ্ছি না আমরা যেভাবে সবসময় খেলি আমরা ওভাবেই খেলার চেষ্টা করব। চায়না, উত্তর কোরিয়া, উজবেকিস্তান ওরা অনেক শক্তিশালী টিম। তো আমরা প্র্যাকটিস ওইভাবেই কাজ করতেছি, কোচ আমাদেরকে দেখাচ্ছে। ইনশাল্লাহ আমরা ভালো কিছু করব।
আমি মনে করি যে আরো ভালো হতো যদি আমরা বাইরে কোনো দেশে তাদেরকে রেখে ট্রেনিং করাতে পারতাম এবং আরো কিছু প্র্যাকটিস ম্যাচ খেলাতে পারতাম। দেন আমি মনে করি প্রিপারেশনটা আরো বেশি ভালো হতো, স্ট্রং হতো।
So it's gone very, very quiet. As my mother used to say to me, less said, least mended. Sometimes, you know, the less you say, the less you get yourself into trouble. But sometimes in life, you've got to stand up and back your corner and speak up for yourself. There's a lot of untruths being spoken about our preparation, and I'm not really going to say much. I don't mind answering questions, but the truth is, we haven't had the best preparation, and I mean that and I'm not pointing fingers, and I mean that in the best possible ways. The fact that we came in with a plan, the plan's not worked. We're playing catch up. I'm not afraid to say that. You can have visions of grandeur in life, but sometimes reality comes back and smacks you in the face. And the fact of the matter is, I think we didn't prepare, or we didn't anticipate, or maybe we weren't willing to invest in whether it be fixtures, camps, or whatever. Now, it is what it is. I live in the real world. I don't live in La La Land, and I have to take responsibility. So when I take responsibility, I have to be accountable for this team. But I'm only going to be accountable when people stop running to the media saying it's Butler's plan, it's Butler's plan, it's Butler's fault. If it all goes pear-shaped, if it all goes like through the roof, I've got to take responsibility. I don't operate like that. And I'm from an environment, I'm from the UK, and I was brought up and I played a lot of football and a lot of games, and I've selected and prepared many squads at international level in Liberia, in Botswana, here in Bangladesh, in England, in Malaysia, and I am not nobody's fool, believe me. So, take this in the nicest possible way. Whether I stay here short term or long term is irrespective. I'll always be honest. I'll always be truthful to journalists and everybody else. And more especially, I'll always be honest and truthful to my players. And that's all I've got to say.
আসসালামু আলাইকুম সবাইকে। আপনারা জানেন যে আমরা কয়েকদিন আগে ওমেন্স লিগ শেষ করেছি। তারপরে যে কয়েকদিন সময় পেয়েছি কোচের কাছে এভাবে প্র্যাকটিস করেছি। কোচ আমাদেরকে দেখাচ্ছে যে কিভাবে আমরা খেলবো, যেহেতু আমাদের প্রতিপক্ষ অনেক স্ট্রং। চায়না, উত্তর কোরিয়া, উজবেকিস্তান ওরা অনেক শক্তিশালী টিম। তো আমরা প্র্যাকটিস ওইভাবেই কাজ করতেছি, কোচ আমাদেরকে দেখাচ্ছে। ইনশাল্লাহ আমরা ভালো কিছু করব। আপনারা সবাই আমাদের জন্য দোয়া করবেন যাতে আমরা ভালোভাবে গিয়ে ওখানে আমাদের সেরা খেলাটা আমরা খেলতে পারি। ধন্যবাদ।
No, we're going to have to tinker. We're going to have to modify it. We've been working on it a little bit, not had a great deal of time. Again, I emphasise that. But I'm not crying about it. Most importantly, I think it's best to be proactive rather than reactive. We've maybe looked to change the system, brought a little bit of pace in, a bit more pace into the team. Had a little bit of a problem with Nobby. Nobby Rand's had a little bit of a long term. But I mean, 48% of this group is under 20, and I think they've got a real attacking mindset. And I don't want them to go away from that. But at the same time, I do understand the task at hand and how can I put it, the responsibility which we have to actually put in a credible and a competitive performance without getting smashed. And if you go there with a cavalier, laissez-faire mindset that you're just going to go and press them and attack them, you're in for the shock of your lives, because you guys have not been at that level. I've played at a high level, and I can assure you, when you play against the top teams, you make mistakes, you get severely punished. We're coming up against some real high top quality teams, some of the best teams in Southern Hemisphere football. So yeah, we're going to have to change, and we're going to have to modify and tinker it. That's why initially we were supposed to be leaving on the 14th. After coming back from a Middle Eastern camp, or maybe Japan, or maybe Spain, or maybe Timbuktu, I don't really know. However, what I would turn around and say is that we've got to try and use time. Time management now is really crucial, and we've got to use that to the best of our ability. I think it's all hypotheticals. Listen, the most important thing is I want the team to put in a credible performance and be competitive. Whether we're playing Uzbekistan, whether we're playing... Bear in mind, Uzbekistan I know Uzbekistan. I've got friends who work in Uzbekistan. I nearly took a job there a long time ago. They are technically very good. Do not underestimate them, and do not take them lightly. They are a good team. Technically superior, physically far superior than what we are. So we're going to have to be really on our game, not only against them, but against, you know, rather than you don't want a cricket score margin when you're playing against teams like Korea and China. So yeah, I just think listen, anybody who thinks we're going to qualify for World Cups, get in the real world. Hey, wake up and smell the roses. Hey, let's take it one step at a time. And let's not, like I said, our visions of grandeur, thinking, oh, we're going to qualify for the World Cup. We only have to beat Uzbekistan. Football doesn't work like that. It has its twists and turns. Incredible performance would be to actually win hearts and minds with this football, and most importantly, put together a very disciplined, structured performance, in possession, out of possession, play our football, but without having a cavalier approach, because I think if you have a cavalier approaching games like these, and I've been involved in these, I've played the Senegals and the Egypts when I was with Botswana and Liberia in their national team, and I knew full well that if we set up to actually go and press for 90 minutes, we were going to get our backsides kicked. And we didn't. We came out, okay, we lost 2-0, but we came out with credibility. And credibility, sometimes, when you lose, sometimes you learn more, you get more credit, you get more credibility, you get more respect than actually when you win, which papers over the cracks. Now, a lot of people maybe in this room, a lot of people maybe in this BFF don't understand football to that level. Sometimes in life, football, you papers over the cracks with wins and results, and it's not all about scoring 2 goals in the first 10 minutes and 2 goals in the next 20 minutes. It's about putting performances, credible performances together that you can build on for the future, and more importantly, come back in 2 years' time and qualify again, and do it again in 2 years' time and qualify again. So you want to back it up, and you only do that with consistency. Nobiran had with this league scenario that went on, she picked up an injury. She's back training. She's not 100%, but again, because we've got like 48-50% of the under 20s within the group, it's a bit of a two-pronged approach. If I'm talking too much, please tell me to shut up. It's a two-pronged approach, and we've also preparing for the under 20s as well. So it's a fantastic experience for players like Afeda and the young girls, and also the senior girls. It's the first time ever that they've actually qualified for it. But we're trying to make up for lost time. India under 20s go to Spain for 20 days. We don't have that luxury. We don't have that finance. So we have to be realistic and pragmatic in our approach, and if we have to take Nobby along and nurture her and give her 20 minutes here, there, and 30 minutes, that's the most important thing in terms of actually her recuperation and her rehabilitation. Good question. How long have you got? Annika's 20, 21 years of age. She came recommended through, one of the members, Mr. Fard, actually recommended her. And I was quite happy to have a look at her, and I've done all my research, spoke to her coaches, looked at videos, seen her in training, and in my eyes, she is a potentially a real find. And maybe the one that actually, the straw that breaks the camel's back in terms of actual breaking that mould of just having local-based Bangladesh players, because I'm sure there's loads and loads of Bangladesh players playing out there in the Australia. You know, I know there's a girl in Aston Villa as well. The question is you need somebody to actually step over the line and put a marker in the sand, and she does that. Now, if you're going to ask me why did I pick her, I picked her based on ability and her age. Her age is a massive factor. She's one for the future. I think she's got a really, really refreshing attitude, and more importantly, she's competitive. She brings quality and strength to the group, and she'll only get better. Fully prepared. Maybe that's why I've got the ump a little bit, because we're not fully prepared. And if I'm being honest, we're playing catch up. You know, I can't be more honest or frank than that. We are playing catch up. And but we'll work diligently. We've got a structured plan. We've got a very, very good fitness conditioner, Cameron, who's coming in and done a fantastic job with the girls, conditioning them. But again, if you lose a week, it takes 2 weeks to catch up, and that's common knowledge. You're always playing catch up. It's not like, oh, let's go in the gym, and we don't have a gym, by the way. It's not about just going in the gym and pumping weights and lifting a few irons and saying, okay, throwing a few medicine balls around and going, okay, hey ho, let's all have fun, and you know, now we're all super fit. You know, football fitness is very, very specific. So we are playing a little bit of catch up, if I'm being honest with you. Not a little bit, a lot. But we will be prepared. Listen, injuries come and go. You pick up, you know, unfortunately not be picked up a serious injury. We've had a couple of girls. Maybe it's not as bad as what we thought it were, but it's not so much that. It's more of the workload and the fatigue, which actually can have an impact on the girls' condition moving forwards. I mean, playing on a 4G pitch like Comleport can be detrimental to your development and your preparation when you're going to play on grass pitches. It takes a while to adjust. So I think we're not out of the woods, but it's positive that Nobby's coming back fit, and we've got a few other girls who are carrying knocks and strains, and our physiotherapist has just had her appendix out, so we're maybe I might ask Miss Kieran to come and be the physio. So we need a new physio.
আগেও এসেছিল, এসে ট্রায়াল দিয়ে গিয়েছে, তো মোটামুটি ভালোই আমাদের সাথে মানিয়ে নিচ্ছে, ওর ওভাবে সমস্যা হচ্ছে না আর কি। আর হচ্ছে এশিয়া কাপের যে চাপটা, ওইটা চাপ নিচ্ছি না আমরা যেভাবে সবসময় খেলি আমরা ওভাবেই খেলার চেষ্টা করব। লিগটা অবশ্যই সহায়ক হয়েছে, কারণ লিগে হচ্ছে আমাদের প্লেয়াররা সবাই ভালো পারফরমেন্স করেছে, তারা প্রচুর গোল করেছে, তাদের এক্সপিরিয়েন্স হয়েছে যে তারা কীভাবে গোল করতে সক্ষম, আর নিজেদের প্রতি তাদের আত্মবিশ্বাসও বেড়েছে। তো আমি আশা করব যে হচ্ছে সবারই হচ্ছে এই লিগটা খেলার কারণে অনেকটাই হচ্ছে কাজে দিবে এশিয়া কাপে। প্রথমবারের মতো যেহেতু আমরা যাচ্ছি এশিয়া কাপে খেলতে, তো অবশ্যই আমরা চাইবো যে ভালো কিছু করতে, মাঠে আমরা আমাদের সেরাটা দিয়েই খেলবো। আমরা অবশ্যই চেষ্টা করব, প্রথম দুইটা খেলা তো খুব হার্ড টিমের সাথেই, তো আমরা অবশ্যই চেষ্টা করব যে উজবেকিস্তানের সাথে ভালো কিছু করা।
হ্যাঁ, নমি যেটা বললো এটা ম্যান্ডেটরি। সিকিউরিটি অফিসারটা এখন এই যে এশিয়া কাপে আমাদের যে স্কোয়াড যাবে, এটা এফসি থেকেই এই পোস্টটা দেওয়া আছে, ম্যান্ডেটরি, সেই কারণেই দেওয়া, অন্য কিছু না। আর যেহেতু আমাদের এই পুলিশ আমাদেরকে সবসময় সার্ভিস দেয় এবং লুনা পাই থাকেন, সে কারণেই তাকে দেওয়া হয়েছে। আর আপনি প্রিপারেশনের কথা যেটা বললেন, সেটা আমি আমার দিক থেকে যেটা করেছি আমি সেটা আপনাদেরকে জানালাম। সেটা হচ্ছে জাপানের সাথে আমি রেডি করেছিলাম, কিন্তু জাপান আমাদেরকে যে সময়টা দিয়েছিল নভেম্বর, সেটাতে তখন ওরা মাইনাস টেম্পারেচারে থাকে, যেখানে আমাদের মেয়েরা অভ্যস্ত না, সে কারণে আমরা সেটা নিতে পারি নাই। আর দ্বিতীয়ত মালয়েশিয়াটা তো আমি বললামই আপনাদেরকে যে সব কিছু সিদ্ধান্ত আমি প্ল্যানিং করতে পারি বা প্রোগ্রাম রেডি করতে পারি, সিদ্ধান্ত তো আমার একার হাতে না, আমার উপরে তো আরও অনেক হায়ার অথরিটি আছে, যে কারণে মালয়েশিয়াটা হয়নি। আমি মনে করি যে আরও ভালো হতো যদি আমরা বাইরে কোনো দেশে তাদেরকে রেখে ট্রেনিং করাতে পারতাম এবং আরও কিছু প্র্যাকটিস ম্যাচ খেলাতে পারতাম, দেন আমি মনে করি প্রিপারেশনটা আরও বেশি ভালো হতো, স্ট্রং হতো। এই জায়গায় তো ল্যাকিংস আছেই, বলবো না, তবে ওই লেভেল থেকে যদি বাইরে রেখে ওদেরকে ট্রেনিং করাতে পারতাম, আরও কিছু প্র্যাকটিস ম্যাচ খেলাতে পারতাম, দেন আমার স্যাটিসফ্যাকশনটা বেটার থাকতো। এখন ওই স্যাটিসফ্যাকশনটা অবশ্যই নাই।
I think all players develop from a physiological perspective. Some develop quicker than others. Some hit plateaus and then drop off. Pretty was one of those that really came to the fore and then dropped off and then has come again and has come back like a beast. Her, Umela, Afrin, Alpi's done extremely well. The question is how you manage them, and you know, the overload is maybe this tournament's a little bit too soon for them in terms of actual, but I've got no doubt they'll play a part. I'll give them some minutes, but I'm delighted with their progress, especially everyone. Alpi's hit all the headlines, but I think Pretty's done extremely well. Omela, a lot of people, you know, talk about Omela. I think Omela has been fantastic. I think she's really impressed in training, and she's given us a completely different new dimension to actually how we play. But we've got a lot of young players, and a lot of young players that actually have missed out and basically are breathing down the neck of some of the senior players. I know it's not always maybe conducive to actually, well, I think it is. I think it's conducive to actually preparing and developing a competitive environment, bringing in young players such as the players you just mentioned, Alpi and Pretty. Kiran is she's savvy to this, she understands. The dates that were given, and I've got the email at Excel, because of the league. Because the league took precedence over the preparation of the game against Philippines was only mooted. It wasn't cast in stone, and that was supposed to be on the 19th of February. On the 14th originally we were supposed to be leaving on the 14th, but the league was moved, and we had to play 2 catch-up games, 10th and 13th. So how can you actually play Philippines when you're playing 10th and the 13th? Excuse me. Would you let me just finish and then you can actually... Second part of the question is, Malaysia, the dates were all wrong. And I didn't turn down Malaysia for any other reason, as we just played them. And the dates were wrong. They clashed with the league. There's no way it would have gone ahead. And Miss Kiran knows that.
করার জন্য আমাদের সাথে ইভেন আমাদের ম্যানেজমেন্টের সাথে বা আমাদের সাথে যে ধরনের কমিউনিকেশন নিয়ে কথাগুলো বলা হয়েছে বা যে ধরনের এসওপি আমাদেরকে দেওয়া হয়েছে, আমরা কিন্তু সব কিছুতেই সব কিছুই আমরা পারফেক্টলি পেয়েছি। এবং আমাদের যে ধরনের অ্যাক্টিভিটিগুলো করার কথা ছিল আমরা অলরেডি কিন্তু করে ফেলেছি। সামনে যে মিশন অস্ট্রেলিয়া গেমের জন্য যে কমিটমেন্ট আমাদেরকে দেওয়া আছে অলরেডি, সেগুলো কিন্তু আমরা অলরেডি পাচ্ছি। তো আশা করি আমাদের সাইড থেকে আমরা অফকোর্স ভালো টাইম এবং ব্যাড টাইম অলওয়েজ ফিমেল টিমের পাশে ছিলাম এবং থাকবো।